The town of Pembroke is home to a large variety of natural wildlife, and PACTV Community News caught up with Pembroke's animal control officer to find out more.
We got white-tailed deer, which I'm sure everybody knows about. We've got coyotes, which after the last, I've been on almost 14 years, I've had enough calls so everybody knows the coyotes are here. When I first started showing up, I was getting a lot more coyote calls. Now it's kind of eased off a little bit because people now realize that they're here. So they're learning to deal with it, cope with it. And they're also learning to, some of them are learning to make sure that they don't invite them in by keeping their areas clean. Foxes we have, fisher cat is a new one that's up and coming. And the reason why it's up and coming is because back about 10 years ago, they completely stopped all trapping. And the only way you could harvest a fisher cat was through trapping. And because of that, now we have an abundance of fisher cat. What people have started to realize is fisher cat, they're not a nice animal. They don't like, they're not, you know, they don't want to be seen. You won't see them with 2 or 3 other fisher cat. They're always by themselves. He's taken domestic animals that people feel the need to let out to, you know, a lot of people, I'll get a call on a cat and the call comes up as, you know, my cat's missing. And I ask them, do you have the cat out? Well, yeah. Why? You know, it's a domestic animal. It's a pet. Why? Well, it has to go out to hunt. And I say, well, you know, don't you realize that while you're letting the animal go out and hunt, it's being hunted? So, you know, if you really want to keep your small pets safe, don't leave them out unattended, because they will be taken. And the fisher cat chase them up the tree and they can climb. So a cat can't get away from them. They'll scream real loud. I mean, some people have called saying that they sounds like a woman screaming. And a lot of times it's a fisher cat. Foxes will scream during the breeding season, early part of the season. They have a real weird yip cry that's it sounds really different. I have a lot of problems with people that move out of the city, and I don't mean all of them, but I mean there's enough of them that when they move out of the city, it's all of a sudden. Well, I live in the country. I can let my dog run loose. You know, where I lived in the city, I couldn't do it because of this and this and this, but now I can. So you know, we have that problem. As far as wildlife, I mean, we're going to see swans, you're going to see geese, you're going to see an overabundance of ducks in the ponds. And the reason why you're seeing that is if the ducks stay here past a certain time in the fall, the people start feeling bad. Well, they can't eat, they can't find food, they can't do this, so they start feeding them on the pond. You feed a duck on a pond or a goose on the pond, he's not going to leave the pond. And our ponds aren't big enough to handle a resident flock of geese or ducks or anything like that. And what ends up happening is it kills the pond with E. coli. And then you got to remember too, a lot of people that live on the ponds draw their drinking water from wells that are 20 feet offshore, that are 20 feet in off the pond. Well, if the pond is loaded with E. coli, their water's going to get it. So, you know, they really don't think. They think they're cute, they're beautiful, and they are. But everybody that, you know, there's so many people out there that want to save everything and make everything comfortable, and they have the Walt Disney scenario where, everything wild loves me, and that's just not the way it is. I mean, a wild animal is a wild animal. You got to be careful for them, and you can't put yourself into a situation where you're going to get yourself hurt.